In a lush, sun-dappled meadow, where vibrant wildflowers swayed gently in the breeze, there lived a cheerful bumblebee named Buzz. Buzz was a sight to behold, with his fuzzy yellow and black striped body that gleamed in the sunlight. His transparent wings shimmered like delicate glass as they fluttered rapidly, keeping him aloft. Buzz's large, curious eyes were a deep brown, always scanning the colorful landscape for the most enticing blooms. One beautiful spring morning, Buzz awoke to the warm rays of sunshine streaming into his cozy hive. He stretched his tiny legs and gave his wings a quick flutter, preparing for the busy day ahead. As he emerged from the hive, he was greeted by a symphony of buzzing from his fellow bees, all eager to start their daily tasks. Buzz knew he had an important job to do, collecting pollen for the hive. "Good morning, everyone," Buzz called out cheerfully to his bee friends. "Are we ready for another day of pollen collecting?" The other bees responded with enthusiastic buzzes, their fuzzy bodies vibrating with excitement. Buzz's best friend, a slightly smaller bee named Zippy, flew over to join him. "Hey Buzz, I found a patch of beautiful daisies yesterday. Want to check them out together?" Buzz's antennae perked up at the mention of daisies. He loved their sweet scent and bright yellow centers. "That sounds great, Zippy," he replied eagerly. "Let's go." The two bees set off across the meadow, their wings humming in harmony as they flew side by side. The morning air was crisp and filled with the fragrant scents of various flowers, making Buzz's senses tingle with anticipation. As they flew, Buzz and Zippy passed by a patch of vibrant red poppies. The delicate petals waved in the breeze, seeming to beckon the bees closer. Buzz felt a strong urge to stop and sample the nectar from these beautiful flowers. "Oh, Zippy," he said, slowing down slightly, "those poppies look so tempting. Maybe we could take a quick break and have a taste?" Zippy looked at Buzz with a mixture of amusement and concern. "But Buzz," she reminded him gently, "we need to focus on collecting pollen for the hive first. Remember what Queen Bee always says, the needs of the colony come before our own desires." Buzz's antennae drooped slightly, but he knew Zippy was right. With a small sigh, he nodded and continued flying towards the daisy patch. As they approached the daisies, Buzz's spirits lifted at the sight of the cherry white petals surrounding golden centers. The flowers stretched out before them like a sea of tiny suns, their faces turned upwards to greet the morning light. "Wow, Zippy!" Buzz exclaimed, his eyes wide with wonder. "You weren't kidding about how beautiful these daisies are." The two bees landed gracefully on a large daisy, their tiny feet gripping the soft petals. Buzz immediately got to work, using his long, specially adapted tongue to reach deep into the flower's center. As he lapped up the sweet nectar, his fuzzy body became dusted with golden pollen. This nectar is delicious," Buzz hummed happily, his wings quivering with delight. Zippy giggled at her friend's enthusiasm. "I knew you'd like it, Buzz. But remember, we're here to collect pollen for the hive. Try not to drink too much nectar." Buzz nodded, feeling a little sheepish. He knew the importance of his task and didn't want to let his colony down. With renewed focus, he began to methodically move from flower to flower, gathering as much pollen as he could on his fuzzy body. As the morning wore on, Buzz and Zippy worked tirelessly, their bodies becoming heavier with the golden pollen they collected. The sun climbed higher in the sky, warming the meadow and causing the flowers to release their sweet fragrances into the air. Buzz couldn't help but feel proud of the work they were doing for their hive. "We are really making a difference, aren't we, Zippy?" he asked, his voice filled with satisfaction. Zippy nodded enthusiastically, her wings buzzing in agreement. "Absolutely, Buzz. Just think of all the honey our hive will be able to make with this pollen. And it's all thanks to hard-working bees like us. The two friends shared a moment of pride, their antennae touching in a gesture of camaraderie. They knew that their efforts were crucial for the survival and prosperity of their entire colony. As midday approached, Buzz began to feel the fatigue of his morning's work. His wings felt heavier, and his once boundless energy was starting to wane. He looked longingly at a nearby patch of bright orange marigolds, their petals looking particularly inviting in the warm sunlight. "Zippy," he said hesitantly, "do you think we've collected enough pollen for now? Those marigolds look so tempting." Zippy followed Buzz's gaze to the marigolds and then looked back at her friend's pollen-covered body. She could see the weariness in his eyes and the slight droop of his antennae. With a kind smile, she nodded. "You know what, Buzz? I think we have done a great job today. We've collected more than enough pollen for the hive. Why don't we take a little break and enjoy some nectar from those marigolds?" Buzz's face lit up with joy, his tired eyes sparkling with renewed energy. "Really? Oh, thank you, Zippy," he exclaimed, doing a little loop-de-loop in the air. The two bees flew over to the marigolds, their excitement growing with each wing beat. As they landed on the soft, velvety petals, Buzz couldn't help but let out a contented sigh. "These flowers are even more beautiful up close," he marveled. Buzz and Zippy spent the next few minutes sipping the sweet nectar from the marigolds, enjoying a well-deserved break from their hard work. The warm sun on their backs and the gentle breeze rustling through the petals created a perfect moment of relaxation. Buzz felt a deep sense of contentment wash over him, grateful for both the opportunity to help his hive and the chance to indulge in the simple pleasures of being a bee. As they rested, Buzz and Zippy watched other bees buzzing by, some carrying pollen back to the hive, others searching for new flowers to explore. The meadow was alive with activity, a bustling community of insects all working together in harmony. Buzz felt a swell of pride in being part of such an amazing ecosystem. "You know, Zippy," he said thoughtfully, "I'm really glad we collected all that pollen before taking our break." Zippy nodded in agreement, her antennae bobbing gently. "Me too, Buzz. It feels good to know we've done our part for the hive. And now we can enjoy this nectar without feeling guilty." The two friends shared a laugh, their bodies vibrating with mirth. They knew that balancing work and pleasure was an important part of being a happy, healthy bee. As the afternoon wore on, Buzz and Zippy decided it was time to head back to the hive. They took off from the marigolds, their bodies still dusted with the golden pollen they had collected earlier. As they flew, Buzz couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. He had managed to fulfill his duties to the hive while also enjoying the beauty and bounty of the meadow. The flight back to the hive was filled with cheerful chatter as Buzz and Zippy discussed their productive day. They passed over fields of colorful flowers, each one a tempting invitation to stop and explore. But both bees knew that their first responsibility was to deliver the pollen they had collected to their waiting hive mates. "Maybe we can come back and explore more tomorrow," Buzz suggested, already looking forward to new adventures. As they approached the hive, they were greeted by the familiar buzz of activity. Bees were coming and going, some laden with pollen, others with nectar. The air was filled with the sweet scent of honey and the warmth of thousands of busybodies working together. Buzz and Zippy landed at the entrance, where they were met by other worker bees eager to help unload their precious cargo. That night, as Buzz settled into his cozy cell in the hive, he reflected on the day's events. He felt proud of the work he had done for his community, but also grateful for the moments of joy he had experienced along the way. As he drifted off to sleep, lulled by the gentle humming of the hive, Buzz knew that he had found the perfect balance between duty and pleasure. He couldn't wait to see what new adventures tomorrow would bring in the beautiful, bountiful meadow he called home.